Hello, Engagers. Welcome to another episode of the Professor Game podcast. As you know, regularly we interview fantastic experts, people who are doing games and gamification for learning and other areas, doing great work in this world and in this area to get us inspired to do that ourselves or to bring it to our classes, to our professional lives, to our personal lives, whatever that might look like. However, today we're going to be doing something slightly different. And why? Because it's a special time for me. I'm going to share with you some professional/personal news. As you know, I start each and every episode explaining what am I doing, who I am, what this whole podcast is about. I talk about me being working and teaching at IE Business School and IE University. However, this is the end of a phase for me. I've been very, very, very happy being a staff member at IE University. However, that time has just literally today come to an end. Today, Monday, July 19th of 2021. That phase of my life as being a staff member at IE University and Business School has just reached its end because I will be starting on the product team for B2B, that's business to business programs at Iron Hack. If you haven't heard of it, I'll be inserting some references during the episode. However, I do have to say I will continue teaching at IE University. As you know, I'm teaching their gamification, especially as you know that it is definitely one of my biggest passions in this world. It's all about gamification. I also am teaching supply chain and operations because that's the area I'm adscribed to as an adjunct professor. That's sort of the special term for those of us who are part-time professors in that sense. I will continue to do that, so I will continue to be, regularly visiting, so I can still say at the start of the episodes that I teach at IE University and IE Business School. I will definitely continue in education. Iron Hack is also an education organization. However, we're going to be talking about what it is all about, but it is definitely different to the work that is done at IE University and IE Business School. And given, everything that has happened, how important this phase of my life has been, this was definitely my first formal job since we arrived here in Madrid in Spain, which has been a fantastic city with, incredible things that we've achieved. And when I say we, I'm talking about my family. It's me, my wife, definitely our extended family as well. I have to thank all the people who helped us, get here and do that. And a big chunk of that has been my work as a staff member at IE Business School, now IE University. And I'd like to take a second to thank everyone who has made me feel sort of at home at IE University during all those 7 years, almost 7.5 years as a staff member. I've been, sort of behind the scenes in many ways. As you know, I used to work at IE University's executive education online programs and publishing, where, we were creating engaging, interactive online programs and experiences. To all of them, every single one of the people that I've met there, we will continue to see each other in campus. I am sure I will be teaching both at the new campus, the exciting new campus of the new tower in Madrid, north of Madrid, where the university is going to be delivering its classes, because I do teach at the university, sort of the bachelor's level, but I also will continue to be teaching in the classic, so to speak, Maria de Molina Street for IE University, which is part of where most of the masters will continue to be at. So I will be there as well. I'm sure most of the people I've had some opportunity to interact and enjoy interacting with, I'll have time to share a coffee and other things. So thank you very, very much. I'll definitely like to mention, of course, the person who has been my supervisor for most of those years. I've switched roles several times. I started as a project manager, senior project manager, publishing manager, and now as I just was until yesterday, associate executive director. As associate director of executive education online and publishing. who is Martin Rodriguez. He was my supervisor for most of my phase there. Also, of course, Matthew Constantine, who's not there anymore. But I definitely like to thank both of them. All of the team, of course, I definitely have to mention the people who were in my own team, who were definitely Anai, Marco, Georgi. Definitely a huge thank you. Made me feel at home. You were a fantastic team. Martin and your team, definitely being part of that big team was a fantastic experience. I grew. I learned so much. Part of the inspiration for this podcast came from my experience at IE University, especially in the publishing department, where we were implementing so much interactiveness and so many interesting things right there. So again, huge thank you to all of you. It's been a beautiful, fantastic stage for me. Professionally and personally, I've grown so much in these 7 years. But now I'm excited to share about this new adventure that starts now with the Iron Hack. And the product team of Iron Hack, as I mentioned before, I will be with that product team, starting anew almost, because this is something that was not really a focus, something that was not really existing at Iron Hack, which is the B2B product team. B2B, as I mentioned before, is business to business. So typically, most of the universities you tend to be focused on what they call the B2C, so business to consumer. The business is where you're at, to consumer, which is the person who consumes the content. B2B is when instead of sort of marketing or attracting directly people to come for classes or for sessions for their education, you're talking to another company. And you're talking to another company because that is the one that is sort of your direct client. There's a client, and then there is the consumer, the person who's actually taking the lessons, the learning. But this is the side of that is basically all about how do you relate to those companies and how those products can be either personalized or even created anew for those companies who are seeking for something that might be exactly what is already in place, something modified or something entirely new, as I mentioned before. It is definitely, as you know, passion for education is definitely there. This is a company absolutely dedicated to education and learning as well. Mainly, Iron Hack is focused on tech boot camps. So tech, education around tech, coding, UX, UI, cybersecurity, data. Very, very, very interesting subjects. It kind of brings me back to some of my roots at the tech area, because as you might or might not know, I'm a computer engineer. That's sort of the translation that I could give you. Is it's Ingeniero en Computación of Universidad Simón Bolívar. That's where I studied. That was my major. Then I did my MBA after that. So I went into business as well. And it's probably the reason why I ended in a huge business school as IE University and IE Business School. But now I'm also taking it a little bit back into those roots with the technology area. Boot camps. Why are they called boot camps? If it sounds anything to you, it probably sounds because of the military. And it kind of has something to do with that. The idea is that it is very, very intense. The idea is it's not, sort of prolonged education where you spend a year, a couple of years, 4 years doing your master's, your bachelor. This is a condensed experience where you do a lot in very little time. As far as I've been able to know, of course, I'm recording this right the day before I started Iron Hack. So I'm talking about, the theory, so to speak. This is what I've read, what I've researched, what I've been told as well when they were inviting me to come into the company. It is very, very intense, very, very focused, very dedicated to getting people out there and being able to achieve those jobs in the technology sector and those tech jobs that are so required nowadays. It is a very, very intense short period where people can just go out there and get those jobs. I will definitely be using for the creation of these new products, the adaptation of existing products for the B2B market, all of those design principles that we discuss here in the podcast, all that game thinking, all those design thinking ideas, all the concepts that I sort of drill down on each and every episode to you, the audience, the engagers that I always talk about. This is definitely something that will be following me, the way that I work, the way that I do all of these things. And, that's basically it. Today's probably a shorter episode because I wanted to make sure, we've grown very, very close, I would say. You as the engagers with this podcast, this is kind of a close relationship. I'm kind of inside your ears, once a week or whenever it is that you listen to this. So I wanted to share this. I know this is slightly different, but I wanted to make sure that you know that there's a real human being here who has, as I mentioned in every episode, a job, that I do many other things, that I'm excited and bring all of that experience as well here to you. Everything that I can, of course, I bring it to you. Everything that has come and gone through my experience, I do it here and I share it on the podcast. So thank you very much for lending your attention, your engagement, for being here and listening to this episode as well. If you want to keep updated, if you want to follow the start of this journey at Ironhack and the product team that I'll be starting very, very soon, you probably want to follow me on Twitter. As you know, I am at Rob Alvarez with a Z at the end, or a Z. Rob Alvarez B, right? So Rob Alvarez B, my second last name here. When we are in Spanish-speaking cultures, we have this custom, which is having two last names. Dad and mom give his last name. My second last name is Polish. Bucholska starts with a B. So that's where that comes from, at Rob Alvarez B. If you want to follow that journey, that's where I post the most. So it's probably going to be there. I'm also on LinkedIn, so that is a lot more professional. It'll be probably a little bit more serious, whatever it is that I share there. But if you want to follow me there as well, I'm Rob Alvarez. You can find me. You put Rob Alvarez or you put Professor Game, you will definitely find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share. And of course, there is this trick on LinkedIn. I think somebody mentioned it in another episode. When you add somebody, click, add a note. So you let me know, I heard you on this episode. I'll be happy to add people from the podcast to my network. Of course, exchange experiences, ideas, inspiration, anything there. I'll be happy to connect on LinkedIn as well. So stay tuned. Next episode, we will be back with absolutely amazing guests as usual. And remember, before you go on to your next mission, I'd like to remind you, if you can, if you want, click on that follow, that subscribe button, which is completely for free. All right. If you're in a podcasting app, just click that button and you will be reminded every time. The app will let you know when there is a new episode. As you know, every single Monday we have a new episode. But if you subscribe, if you follow, you're definitely helping us with our mission of reaching a broader, a larger audience of engagers like you, so that we change the world together through gamification. So again, stay tuned. Remember to subscribe, to follow on that favorite podcast app, and I'll see you next time. Let's do this.